the Madman! Welcome to today's Descent of Dragons card review, and we've got some whoppers of cards for you today. Did you think that Shaman was weak? Well, good news! Look at all these insane Shaman cards. We're starting off with Cumulo Maximus. 5 mana, 5/5 elemental. Battlecry, if you have overloaded mana crystals, deal 5 damage. Did you know that some Quest Shamans were looking for that direct damage so much that they put in Pit Crocolisk into their deck? Why not just run Cumulo Maximus? Press the button on your quest and then play Cumulo Maximus for a casual Pyroblast. Given that you have to have overloaded mana crystals, you can't play Cumulo on 5, so you'll play him on 6, so he kind of serves the purpose of Fire Elemental. Instead of a 6/5 deal 3, it's a 5/5 deal 5. Wow. What's to say here? If you're playing cards that overload you, you'll probably play Cumulo Maximus. That is one big card. Very comparable to Blazecaller as well, which you had to severely compromise your deck in order to run the payoff card of Blazecaller, Cumulo Maximus. That's a much more achievable goal than Blazecaller. It's like no matter what you compare this card with, it's insane. We also have both Shaman Legendaries revealed. Nithog, 6 mana 5/5 dragon, battlecry, summon 2/0/3 eggs. Next turn they hatch into 4/4 drakes with rush. So potentially a 6 mana 13/13 in 1/5/5 and 2/4/4s. That's a good distribution of stats. Of course, you don't immediately get the 13/13, that would be OP. Instead, you just get 2 eggs, which of course the opponent is going to try to kill before they hatch into drakes. So you want to play Nithog when the opponent does not have a board. I don't think this card is going to fit into the Quest Shaman. Quest Shaman had a tough time of keeping opponents' boards clear. I think the home for this lies in a mid-range Shaman deck, something that can actively trade away the opponent's board and then play Nithog. You can see that Nithog is very aggressively costed. You just need to find the situation where your opponent has no board and play Nithog and massively profit. The Shaman legendary that people are commenting, oh, well, at least Shaman didn't get everything insane, is Bandersmosh. 5 mana 5/5, each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a 5/5 copy of a random legendary minion. This card gets a lot of comparison to Shifter Xeris, you know, an example of a card that, blah. But wait, are they right? Or is this card actually secret OP? The baseline is you always get a 5 mana 5/5, and legendaries often have some sort of effect on them. I think that enough legendaries have cool battle cries and cool effects on it that Bandersmosh is actually insane. There's a lot of high rolls you can do with Bandersmosh. Alakir, Alexstrasza, Ziliax, Kalikgos, New Ysera, New Malygos, Old Malygos. You can list off a lot of high rolls, and the low roll is basically 5 mana 5/5. Given that you have the options for quite a few high rolls, I think Bandersmosh is really insane. It's not that insane to like just wait a little bit on the Bandersmosh, and then when it turns into something insane, you play him. I think Bandersmosh is being slept on and is actually incredibly insane, and will be put into quite a lot of Shaman decks. That's my dreamer memer side. We've got another card that looks like a meme, Bad Luck Albatross. 3 mana 4/3 beast, death rattle, shuffle 2 1/1 Albatross into your opponent's deck. 1 mana 1/1s. This card is similar to Weasel Tunneler. Bad Luck Albatross simply is, you know, it's decently stat. It's 3 mana 4/3, which is a fine stat line. And the death rattle is sometimes your opponent draws a useless card, a 1 mana 1/1. I think that's actually quite good. If your Bad Luck Albatross can cause your opponent to miss 1 draw, it's very similar to Bad Luck Albatross just saying Battlecry draw a card, or like Battlecry draw a delayed card. You delay your opponent in missing a card draw for an Albatross. And the high roll is that if the game lasts long enough, your opponent will draw both Albatross, and that'll be really bad luck. So what you're really looking for in the Bad Luck Albatross deck is to put it into a deck that will go on for a while. So maybe a control deck, maybe a mid-range deck if the meta is control. I think you need to expect the game to go on for like another 10 turns for Bad Luck Albatross to be good. But 3 mana 4/3 draw a card is really good, so Don't sleep on Bad Luck Albatross. I feel like this could be a filler in quite a lot of control decks. Also, does disable Highlander decks, which is kind of funny. Warlock Legendary, Zeraku the Warped with a double Z. 8 mana, 4/12 dragon. Whenever your hero takes damage, summon a 6/6 Netherdrake. So that is a huge card. You're obviously trying to play this on turn 10 alongside a life tap, and then you get kind of the effect of 10 mana, 4/12, plus 6/6, and draw a card and take 2 damage. That's 10/18 in stats, which is a lot of stats on turn 10, but on turn 10, like, just getting stats as Warlock might be too slow. This is really good in a control versus control matchup because your opponent has to remove Zeraku the Warped, because if they just hit you in the face, you summon more 6/6s. When you're up against aggro, probably too slow. When you're up against mid-range, probably also too slow. But worth mentioning is if you're at a high life total, they have to deal with Zeraku before they can deal with you, because Zeraku summoning a 6/6 each time you take damage, including when they hit you with small minions, that's a lot of 6/6s, and then you kill them. So, interesting end-game legendary for Warlock. And we'll conclude with a set of 2 mage cards which seem insane. I'm going to start with the less insane one, which is still also insane. Dragoncaster is a mage 6 mana 4/4. Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, your next spell this turn costs 0. So back in the day, there was a card called Inkmaster Solia, which required you to have a Reno Singleton deck to run. Dragoncaster costs 1 fewer mana, and as long as you're just holding a dragon, you get the spell discount to 0. Now, admittedly, beforehand, the Solia was not run in all Reno decks, which meant that even in a 30 unique card deck, Solia wasn't strong enough. But we do live in a world with some really powerful big spells, such as Power of Creation and Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron. So I think that this is going to be pretty solid and might herald in some sort of dragon big spell mage. We might see a lot of Box of Yoggs being cast. Praise Yogg. And if that wasn't incentive enough to run a dragon mage deck, Arcane Breath is the even more insane card. 1 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion. If you're holding a dragon, discover a spell. So we can compare this card with a card that I underrated initially, Marked Shot for Hunter, because it was no flanking strike. But Marked Shot has been making the rounds, and that card cost 4 mana to deal 4 damage and discover a spell. So it's a 3 mana discount on Marked Shot. That's pretty insane, plus the mana cost is low, which, you know, I was just talking about a big dragon spell mage deck, but perhaps you could also have a small spell dragon mage deck because of that new elemental, which wants you to cast many spells. You could Magic Trick into Arcane Breath into Magic Trick. It's just a nice cheap spell. Then you play the Mana Cyclone, and then maybe your Mana Cyclone generates the huge spells that the Dragoncaster casts. That's a pretty insane set of Dragon Mage synergy cards. So, wow, what a set of cards! Shaman and Mage players rejoice. And hey, Shamans, are you ready for something really exciting? What could this hammer with some lightning coming out of it be? Ooh.